Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Magnanimosity. We are a grassroots organization committed to unleashing the human spirit and maximizing the potential of future generations. This is part 2 in a 10-part series entitled, oh yes we are, Unleashing the Human Spirit. Please feel free to visit us at magnanimosity.webs.com. That's magnanimosity.webs.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there has always existed mountains of evidence that substantiates the idea that the very persons entrusted with the care and sculpting of our planet's precious young psyches may in fact be doing more harm than good. We as a species are unfortunately quick to not only accept, but indeed validate the methods of our mothers. Even in the face of egregiously abusive behavior, mothers are routinely excused. Even in the case of infanticide, mothers are often excused using the postpartum depression defense. Wherever true abuse occurs, resulting in the severe emotional impairment of the child, so too does a defense that excuses that behavior by the mother. Until we realize that there is no valid excuse for the emotional, mental, and or physical abuse of a child, we will be destined to perpetuate the resulting plethora of our world's ills ad infinitum. As difficult as it may be to accept that our mothers may not be perfect, we do have a choice. Do we continue preserving the status quo, insanity, or do we shine a light on the problem? Objectively look at the facts, wake up, realize that there is a problem, and come together as a society to effect a paradigm shift. Everything good and worthwhile is at stake. Ladies and gentlemen, everything that I am, I learned from my mother. The vast majority of a toddler's life, ages 0 to 3 to 5, are spent not only in the presence of, but subject to the direct influence, teaching, and molding of its mother. Pursuant to the teachings of a preponderance of the world's child experts, the lion's share of the adult we become is a direct result of our mother's influence. If one is willing to accept the possibility that the vast majority of our world's ills, i.e. war, crime, poverty, hunger, greed, etc., are a direct result of damaged psyches, then we must return to the scene of the crime. We must thoroughly examine the mother-child relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, society has convinced us that mothers are the nurturing half of our species. Let us suspend everything we have been taught with regard to that statement for just one moment. Not only that, we are raised to believe that mother love is different from other kinds of love. It is not open to error, doubt, or to the ambivalence of ordinary affections. This is an illusion. What is to follow is not only highly politically incorrect, but may, in many instances, be quite difficult to palate. After all, we are hardwired to believe that our mothers are infallible. This could not be further from the truth. Many of our planet's great modern spiritual leaders, progressive thinkers, and visionaries have spoken of a deep slumber to which our species has succumbed. We have drifted so far from our intended greatness and joy that many of us do not even realize the depth of this hallucination. It has been passed from generation to generation for so long that it has indeed become the status quo. Millions have been murdered in the name of God and religion and continue to be to this day, to this moment, to this minute, to this second. How is it possible that any creator would desire that his creation destroy itself, let alone the creator? It certainly does not take a genius to clearly see the madness of such a concept. I could give example after example of the insanity of our personal and collective choices and actions. Is it possible that our psyches have been so damaged as babies that our vehicle to think and see clearly has been so irreparably altered that our actions therefore cannot help but be twisted? Thought precedes action, and self-esteem determines the health or lack thereof of our personal, societal, and global relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, the alarm is sounding. We have a choice. I believe if you are still listening at this point, then you possess the presence of mind to recognize the problem and the willingness to accept the cause. Will you have the courage to help effect a change? These are the facts. The vast majority of male babies are welcomed into the world by being mutilated at the direction of their mothers, and things go downhill from there. Mothers are the most frequent child batterers. Their 2-year-old sons are the most frequent victims. It is one thing to discipline a 5-year-old with a spanking. It is another thing altogether to strike a baby out of anger. The infant cannot possibly process this arbitrary form of abuse to a positive end. There is a direct correlation between this type of abuse and the violent behavior this baby is practically guaranteed to engage in later on in life. The following is just a partial list of the effects of child abuse: academic difficulties, aggressive behavior, alcohol and other drug abuse, anxiety, attention problems, bad dreams, bedwetting, behavior problems, chronic pain, compulsive sexual behavior, concentration problems, dangerous behavior such as speeding, dehydration, depression, dissociative states, eating disorders, failure to thrive, fear and shyness, learning problems, lying, malnutrition, oppositionality, panic attacks, headaches, stomach aches, repeated self-injury, risky sexual behavior, running away, self-neglect, separation anxiety, sexual dysfunction, sleep disorders, social withdrawal, stealing, and I could go on and on and on. Mothers have been abusing their children since the beginning of time. Sometimes the abuse is calculated and premeditated. Sometimes it is unconscious. Much of the time it is learned from their mothers, and much of the time it is a result of hormonal imbalances. Sometimes it is a result of putting their own selfish agenda ahead of the health of their child. Some of the time it is well-intentioned, but you know what they say about good intentions. The vast majority of the abuse is covert and grossly underreported. In all cases, it is pernicious, irreparably damaging, and unacceptable. Many children would in fact be better off raised by wolves. Studies have shown that children removed from their mother's care for half a day start improving cognitively, emotionally, and psychologically. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes part 2 in a 10-part series entitled, Oh Yes We Are, Unleashing the Human Spirit. And again, please join us at magnanimosity.webs.com. That's magnanimosity.webs.com. And I thank you.